And we are live, Unapologetic Podcast, special presentation with a legend in the building. But first, before we get to him, the actual and factual Kim Smith made the drive all the way from Carbondale to be here today. Kim, how are you?
Blessed, black, and highly favored. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. Sitting next to Kim is the person who discovered her, the podcast killer, Antonio D. White Sox SC Reed.
Yeah.
How are you today, sir?
As I say, I heard you on the other podcast. I orchestrated that too.
Oh,
he
you
won't
did?
say that.
Oh, okay.
I had to put, they like.
So you puffy.
I am.
Oh, you're the veteran. Okay, I didn't know we had Diddy in the building.
Oh,
Diddy
everything's
in the
happening.
building.
It was like the West. You remember the West Coast?
Oh, I'm
East
very
Coast?
aware. Yeah.
I had to step in and
Just
squash that.
Got it.
I had to
Okay.
have one
I
beside
didn't know that there was a beef. It was definitely one side.
The things you learn.
Yeah.
I say it too much.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us on this special day. It is Wednesday, but we have a special guest in the building, none other than Mr. Luke Juke Rogers, Chicago basketball legend, Hall of Fame. How are you today, sir?
Blessed and highly favored.
Come on. That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Wait, look, where he from though? What side of town?
Oh, don't stop.
No,
Chicago Cubs.
We gotta put the north side respect, because when people don't give us our respect.
That's true.
They
Near
don't give
north.
us our
Near
there
north.
you go.
We're from up north, near north.
That long as you put the N in.
There
Why does that
you
even make sense?
You
Well,
see, you gotta be
We're going to get to that in
Okay.
just a bit.
Okay.
But
Please explain.
it's great that Luke is here with us today because he is a legend, but it's March Madness. And when I go down the list of people in my phone, I don't have many people that can say have participated in the actual March Madness tournament.
Nice.
And
I know
we
who
have,
I'm going to get my boxes now.
Yes. I always lose though for some reason. Upset.
That's what it be.
We was a Cinderella team. So.
Really.
And so, Luke, how describe that experience that most of the world has never experienced and will never experience? I mean, it's a very low percentage. Tell us about that experience being a part of March Madness.
Yeah, that's very factual. March Madness was unreal. Like, it's a movie. Like, from the hotel, people see the games and you look on TV or you're at the game, but the hotel scene, just leaving out the hotel, you got cheerleaders, you got buses out, you got other teams going. I mean, it's just the preparation. It's unreal. It's unreal, man. But I had a good time, and I could say that was my mom's first game she ever came to.
Okay.
We played against Iowa. We played against Iowa. I think they were a 3 seed, we were a 14 seed. And, we had a hell of a conference. We won conference, lost one game in the conference. But the team was filled up with guys that transferred in. Well, I was the only transfer in, but they played together. They was from Jukos. They was from Juke. So they had won a year before. So I was the added puzzle piece, you know what I mean? So when I came, it was just like glue. And I was a little mature because I came as a junior college transfer. So with that team, we had 6'8", 6'9", 6'6". We had 4 guards. Here I am, a four-year senior. He sat down so I could start. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Kenny Jones. He passed away recently. My best friend, he sat down because he seen, how I was moving. And it worked out better for us. Obviously, but that experience was unreal. We had a hell of a season. I'll never forget that. It was. We beat Iowa by 1 at the buzzer. We was down 20. We were down 20. And you can see the yellow shirts in the stands. I mean, nothing but yellow because we're a Cinderella team. Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was, when we hit that shot, man, they just put their head down. It was unreal. I mean, it just like took the life out of the gymnasium. And we played in the Detroit Pistons arena. So before that, we met Joe Dumars in the back. He was part owner at the time. We met him in the back. He let us practice. We were the only team that practiced in his arena. Because his mom from Natchitoches, and Northwestern State is in Natchitoches, the oldest town was still Magnolia.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
Yeah. So he, it was dope. It was dope, man. He let us practice there, shoot with the NBA ball. So we was pumped up for the next day. You know what I'm saying?
It is crazy to me because this before social media. when we got word that Luke was gonna be on TV, I literally watched the game.
Oh, wow.
And like, because they had never, for people who was born in
80s.
no, that's the no. If you born in 98 and up, you will never know what it's like to have to watch it, because if you don't see it,
Oh, you gotta watch it live. Yes.
So man, Luke on,
No
on. And we watching and we rooting, and it's like to see him be on TV, and you like, I know him. It's just like you feel like you made it. Like, I know him. And the game he talking about, it was real. You like, what is number 14 doing to number 3? And like I said, I channel 2, and this before they had all 4.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
you looking.
Exactly.
So when they was making their comeback, they kept it on Northwestern State. Only reason I remember the school is because of Luke. Before he's like, I think Luke went to Northwestern State. Or
Yeah, because people say Northwestern.
yeah, and you gotta put the state on it.
You
'cause
gotta put the state on it.
But
Okay.
yeah, like saying that, like I still remember, like I was out west on Chicago was falling, ready to go, but I'm like Luke and them on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you just played 21 against that Super Bowl.
I know him. Like, just whooping eyes on the court. Now he in college doing it.
Yeah, so.
That's amazing.
So what city is Northwestern State in?
Natchitoches.
Natchitoches. And how far is that from New Orleans?
4 hours.
4 hours. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
northern.
It's northwest. It's an hour from Shreveport,
Okay.
45 minutes from Alexandria, and 4 hours from New Orleans.
Okay.
It's 4 hours from Houston too.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
northwest. You know. It's
Okay.
So it's in there.
What junior college did you go to?
I went to Eastfield out in Mesquite.
Okay.
That's a long story. I ended up there. I went to Albany initially out of high school. I went to Albany.
Okay.
I went to Albany, Illinois. I had a great experience there for the moment, you know. And that's when of course, my first son was born.
That's
So
good.
she, you know, my son mom was pregnant with LG at the time, and I decided to go to Albany. Albany like 3 hours out, 3.5 hours out, and I was leaving. I had to make a decision if I want to leave or if I want to stay and just work at Jules. So, you know, I decided to just leave, and that kind of shattered that relationship. I'm gonna be honest, it shattered that relationship. It never worked out, but I had to make that decision. If she would have knew, you know, how much I love the game, how much I love sports, and this is me. It's no sports without me. I feel like, you know,
That's
I need
it.
to be a part of that. That's how confident I was and sharp I was in my expertise. So,
Love that.
so I went to Albany. I went out there with a couple of guys from Chicago, a guy named Omni Smith, Ronald Buford from Marshall, and Roy Hedgewood, a good friend of mine. He went to Manly. We all played against each other. We ended up at the Juke in Albany. But I was coming off the bench. You know, I was a freshman. You know, Buford in front of me, he was averaging like 24.
Okay.
So I was averaging 18 off the bench.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I was averaging 18, but my other fellow Chicago members, they weren't comfortable with that. You know, so got in a few things, got in a little trouble. So I took a hit and I got sent home. You know what I'm saying? But that's me being young and thinking I'm being loyal. Thinking I'm being loyal. You know, if I'd have just stayed in my lane and stayed out there Chicago battle with doing it, you know, and I got sent home, and it just crushed me. I got sent home from that JUCO. I was getting letters from every school in the nation. I mean, I had a box of letters every day. Schools was coming to visit me, you know, and I only played 10 games. So when I left there, I just told the coach, man, I appreciate the opportunity. Got put my eyes on the Greyhound. I came on home. So after I left there, they lost every game after I left. Every single game. Every single game. Not saying that I was the reason. I'm telling you how God worked.
Well, I think he did say that.
I'm telling you how God worked. They lost every single game.
Yeah.
It was the worst season ever. And my best friend stayed there. He got sent home the next year.
Lord have mercy.
So I ended up going to Texas. I was working at European Imports, taking care of my son at the time. And excuse me, I was taking care of my son at the time, and I ended up going. I got a call. I was working a night shift job. I got a call from a coach from Dallas. So I answered my phone while I was, you know, in the warehouse. So he told me, how would you like to come to Texas? I said, what you mean? You know, Texas. How would you like to come to school in Texas? I was like, I'd love to, you know, but I'm working. He was like, well, I'll get you a flight in the morning.
Just like that.
Wow.
I said, what? I'll call you right back. Hung up, went talk. I told my boss, I said, Nick, his name was Nick. I was working at European Imports. I said, Nick, hey man, I got a call to go. He said, well, Luke, just send me some tickets.
I
I swear to God, that's inside stuff that I experienced hands-on that people don't know.
That's
Because you
real.
look at this and you see that, like, it took me a lot to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I left there. Man, actually, he didn't give me a flight. He got me a bus ticket. I took the bus all the way to Dallas, 19 hours. I got there. He took me straight to the gym. I walk in the gym. There's over 50 kids in the gym. I mean, it's crowded. He got kids in the gym going from Dallas, from all over. And he put 4 people with me. He put one guy from Chicago with me. His name Darnell Ross. I went to Von Steuben with him. He was down there with me. And he put 3 other guys with us on that team. And he said, let me know if you want to stay here. And I hadn't played ball, I was working the warehouse.
Yeah.
I won 6 straight games.
Come on.
I'm trying to go back home.
Why, if your back against the wall, I'm gonna get it off this wall.
It was like the epitome of Fight Club.
Mm-hmm,
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a real thing when you say, trying to get to school, trying to get these kids out of Chicago. It's a real thing, it's a real battle. And you battle other than the physical part of it, the mental part of it.
So with that being said, like when you watch these like Netflix series like Last Chance of You and all that, like that put me in the mind state where it's like, I'm gonna get you down here and I'm tossing you right in. Mm-hmm. So it's really like that.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense.
It does.
Like it's cutthroat. Like
absolutely.
The way Goodwin set it up. To be one of the 64 at that time, you're not even thinking about how hard it is to be on the team.
Right. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Man.
The groundwork of it.
Man.
Yeah.
Now we all love a good upset in March Madness.
Describe
that feeling of upset, the top seed, and what happened after the game and in the locker room. How was that?
I don't want to talk too deep about the locker room.
Some things can't come out.
Okay.
Disclose information. But
protect people's privacy.
Honestly, it was crazy because we had the shoot around pregame, and that's when Kevin Garnett, they had sent some Kevin Garnett's, a whole box of gyms. We weren't getting that throughout the year. We was a mid-major, we couldn't afford.
Exactly.
So, they gave us the new shoes, the Adidas and all that, and hooked us up. And we were just pumped up from the beginning. And, it's a process. So you got the breakfast, everybody got to go to breakfast. You got scout, then you go to the shoot around. You go to the shoot around, and then after the shoot around, you go back to the hotel. You got to kind of wind down. You got to kind of get your phone up, lock in, and then you play later that night, So we had a whole setup in the hotel, like where they fed us. We had to leave the hotels, stuff like that. We were doing good. So we'll go eat, go back to the room, do scout for about an hour on the team we playing, and then we'll leave from there, head to the game. And walking out of the hotel, we got cheerleaders. I mean, it was crazy. People from Northwestern State, Iowa had their fans. It was just it was a movie. Just getting on the bus. I felt like I was in the league,
Man, that moment.
So we get to the game and everything. We go in the back, and the whole time you're just watching the game before us. It's funny because Tony Bennett played at Bradley. They was playing against Pittsburgh. It was another upset. They upset Pittsburgh on the way out.
Oh wow!
On the way out, he was coming out. I was coming on. Tony Bennett went to Westinghouse.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we had crossed paths, shook hands, and he told me, he said, "Man, go get it. It's your turn now." So that moment in Chicago clarity right there was just walking through the tunnel. I was already lit up walking on the court.
All right, you just happy to be
there.
there.
I felt it, So during that game, we started off bad. We was down 20. Iowa had us down 20. So I was looking for my mother because my mother never been to a game. So I'm looking at the stands for my mother the whole time. And my coach in my ear, everybody like, Luke, man, come on, I'm arguing with the coach. I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated. I ain't playing the way I normally play. We down 20. So, I finally got together. I seen my mom and I seen my family and I got excited. I got excited again, got refocused, and I got with my guys. We just, that 5 that was in, I felt like us coming back, I can feel Iowa like suppressing. At first they had the press on us, they were suppressing. They didn't want to come to the ball. You can feel the energy in the room, like they didn't want it. They was giving it away. We was putting like the pit bull on them. We was pit bulls. Every time we got it. And we just kept that pressure on the whole time. The score probably was down 10. But if you really were out there, you knew that they didn't want to win this game. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain feeling when you're out there. When your opponent just back down.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum.
You
absolutely.
can feel it.
Well, Luke is currently a coach, and he sounds like
Come on, Luke. Damn it.
You can tell they scared. They scared.
Yep, and so enough, and it came back and popped them. It did. We came back and beat them by 1. And once we did that, And we left the gym and went back to the room. I don't know where everybody else went, but I went over there with my mother and them and had a good time. My teammates, one of our guys named Marcus Spears played in the league.
Yeah.
He hung out with the guys, man, after the game. And I don't know what they had a good time.
That's all.
Hey, look,
I love how you set it up. Oh, I wasn't there. I don't know what they did, but
I had to go with mom that one time. I ain't seen other times I didn't go, but that one time I did go with mom.
Oh, okay.
I did.
You run into Marcus Spears and get his story.
Yeah, Marcus Spears played for he played for Kansas City for like 10 years. So he went to Northwestern State. So he was coming to all our games at the time.
Wow.
So they from Mississippi, from Natchitoches, from Louisiana. They drink beer. They don't drink water.
You say that's
full of beer, yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. So they had a good time. It was good, man.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to March Madness. I took the next 2 days off. So I can watch games 11 in the morning.
Arizona,
I got Gonzaga.
I think Gonzaga is ahead of the pack this year.
Yeah.
Far above the rest. So I think that Gonzaga is going to take it, but I always root for the underdog.
Which is?
Every
But
not this time.
Like if it's a 4 versus the 11 or something like that, I'm always rooting for the 11.
Oh, okay.
Especially if it's Duke. I do not.
Duke gonna get popped early. You ain't gotta worry about
it.
Really?
They Fullerton again.
They go Duke.
Y'all know seriously. One of my good friends loves Duke, so I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah, well, tell your good friend prepare to not think
Okay.
Right.
I've been rooting for Duke this season because of them. So
sadly, that we all went around the room, and I want to say Illinois, but I've been watching them the last 2 weeks and getting pissed off at what I'm saying.
Okay, well,
I think they probably get past Chattanooga, but
they play Houston.
Houston will pop them.
They will. But see, this is what I say about Illinois, because I thought you was gonna do a whole thing. See, Illinois could go home, could go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I just don't know what Kofi I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
I don't know what Cabello I'm gonna get.
Right.
And if them damn threes are falling, I don't know like what type of friends are they being.
Right.
Now, if they hit them threes, they can play with anybody.
Yeah, I agree.
They can play with it.
But Houston is tough.
Houston is tough.
Yes.
And I will say, like, being put in the South, and they brought it on themselves. Because the Big Ten was winnable, especially how they started, losing to Rutgers and fucking, when they lost to Rutgers.
Rutgers beat everybody
but see, at the time, Illinois put them on a hot streak.
Yeah,
and Illinois was up fucking 10. I watched every Illinois game, and I didn't go to Illinois, but... Like with DePaul and fucking Chicago State and all that. Like we have to hold on to Illinois. We have to. That relates to us. So it's like I watch every game. And to see the potential that they got and how deep they got, to see them like squander games, it burns because I'm going into a room for them. But Arizona, my pick, like, they got everything.
Okay.
Purdue is my wild horse. Cause J9, yes, Ivy. He a lottery pick, and if you got a lottery pick, I'm sure Luke gonna tell you. Yeah. You always in the game when you got a lottery pick.
Always.
But I think Arizona just got everything that you could want.
It's their time.
Yeah, it's their time.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just want to confirm before I walk out of here and put money on somebody. Mm-hmm. Who am I putting money on?
They're saying Gonzaga. I'm saying Arizona.
Arizona?
But
I'm saying Gonzaga.
Okay.
But Arizona tough. Yeah.
Okay. Can I bet on 2?
Yeah. You could if you want to fade the bet.
Yeah. Look, I just want to win.
But what we will all be honest and say, rarely the 1 seed wins the whole damn tournament. Because Gonzaga's team, which they're picking this year, was better last year and lost to Baylor because Baylor, much like I think of Gonzaga, that's all I say. So you can't sleep on Baylor, but it ain't the same Baylor, because that Baylor team last year with that pit bull he talking about, as soon as they got, I'm like, oh they finna get their ass locked up.
Mm-hmm.
I often like to see the best team in the nation win, but this Gonzaga being a 1-1, I don't have that same feeling like last year. They were number 1 of 1. This year, I think it should have been Arizona, but Arizona playing a weak ass Pac-12, so they were on them.
They got a good road to get there though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: going to an HBCU is popular these days. What do you feel? How do you feel about top recruits going to HBCUs?
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Come on.
I want to give my flowers to Deion Sanders for making that transition.
Yes, sir.
He's man, and they got Mo Williams over there for the man's coach. Mo Williams played in the NBA for a while.
Oh, from Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, he down there at okay.
Yeah, he's down at Jackson State.
Jackson State.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
and then you look at Chris Paul. He's supported. He's been wearing HBCU gym shoes every different school. So it's a movement. And I like our movement, the black culture, and what we're doing in the sports, and then we can continue to keep that drive going. Most of these kids like Shaquille O'Neal's son. He's going to HBCU. They transfer to HBCUs because they say they don't have enough resources and money, but it's time for it to happen. We need it. We need it. So most of our kids going to these other colleges, in the ACC or whatnot. Why not build up our HBCUs?
Because that's all
we can do the same thing and compete with those powerhouses as well. With the athletes.
Because don't you think that the money follows the athlete?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
right. So I feel like that argument, that's the first thing they try to throw at a kid. It's like, oh, well, they don't have the money, they don't have the sponsorship or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. If enough people show up, the money has no choice
but
to
to
show up.
hit the stands. And another thing is too, you got your boosters. So now you got guys like Deion Sanders coming back. He's bringing more NFL people. He's bringing more of an eye. He's bringing more of a pocket. So now we can recruit the kids we want with the gear we got. Most kids want material things. They want shoes. They want shirts, shorts. So we got that stuff. You know what I mean? So we can get that HBCUs. Let's spread it out and let's get that talent and let's compete with these guys. And I'm not saying anything bad about the Big Ten or the ACC, but I know for a fact that our HBCUs, are popping. You know what I'm saying? And having the best time. And we don't talk about that enough. We don't give the HBCUs credit enough.
Howard tried to kick it off last year.
Yeah.
With and I don't know if he been hurt. Hey, he told us to my man, I should have researched it because I know what Deion did for football.
Right.
But when homie went to Howard last year, I thought he was gonna open the door for the term, but like Kim say, money gonna go where the best players are.
Right.
And hypothetically, class of 2023 best recruit wants to go to Grambling. The TV cameras, ESPN, because you got to look at it. ESPN is in high school gymnasiums, and as you say, funding this. Like, I know Luca broke down the AAU coach and all that better than I. But if you think you go to Grambling, Howard, and all these goddamn black colleges, and the best gonna be there, that the cameras and the boosters and the secret motherfuckers in the background gonna come in, it's crazy. And that's the only thing I get this generation props for. When they want to revolutionize the shit, they'll just do it. Whereas ours, we like to right in the middle. We wanted to do it, but we were scared. I want to kick it off, but I need the support.
Well, to make that point, now it's more softer. Well, it's more sensitive because you got the internet. We didn't have that.
We didn't have the internet.
So we didn't know, we can take a chance on doing something with our voice. You know what I'm saying? Now the voice is the internet. These kids are easier seen, more comfortable. So that's why they have more confidence to, make their own movement or revolution. But it's like you say, I was thinking about this earlier, Penny Hardaway is a coach now. Now we get more black coaches, as head coaches now. If you haven't noticed. But it's over 30, it's 31 or 33 coaching jobs open right now, head coaching jobs open. And right now it's the time for our blacks to get in there, and apply for these jobs. But for the most part, like you say, the HBCUs it's a big deal. And I like the fact that we're deciding to put it out there with the people, our African Americans putting it out there, and the kids they're gonna follow that, they're gonna feel that, and we can impact, the sport, what I'm saying, and it's a fun thing, man. It's fun to see. I thought I'd never see it,
No, ever. They down talked it for so long, I had a very close friend or whatever that was very good in basketball. And same thing with him. Like when the recruit came, it's just like, oh, like we understand that, but you'll get this look and you'll get that look if you go here. Because the recruiters, why in the world would I be recruiting for HBC? Like it just didn't make any sense.
And another thing too, you guys probably don't know, a lot of the other colleges, the coaches been getting fined. They've been getting locked up because the funneling of this money coming from these Nike, Adidas, so it's a business. It's a business. It's all we know. But that's what's happening. So, like I got a couple kids that I'm grooming, that I'm training, and I'm trying to shoot them to certain places where they feel like that it's a family oriented. You know what I'm saying? Whether if it's not an HBCU, it's somewhere where he can grow. You know what I'm saying? So I got a couple kids that I'm helping out on that level, but I would love for them to go to HBCU.
That's what's up.
How did you survive in college? It wasn't too long ago.
Man, networking, my resources, my mom, my family, people I can call. I need a couple dollars.
Yeah.
Those phone calls, those long cries at night.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
When you're away, you gotta understand. I was in Louisiana. You want to come home. And look, this was crazy. I was out there during Hurricane Katrina.
Wow.
I hadn't played a game yet. I had just signed. I woke up to that.
That's crazy.
After last, we experienced all that. So people that was evacuated, they was on campus eating in the cafeteria.
Goodness gracious.
You know what I mean? I experienced all this, and I thought about it. I said, did I get to this point? I'm ready to go home. You know what I mean? And the assistant coach came in my office. He said, man, just be patient, just wait it out. I said, I haven't heard from my mom in 3 weeks. I couldn't call. The phones was down. So on my head, I'm like, man, I said, it's got to be something after this. It's got to be, y'all. So I go home and just try to go somewhere else. But I've been 2 different JUCOs. I'm like, you know what? Let me stick this out.
Come on.
And I stuck it out. And a couple of my neighbors, like a baseball player and another guy, they came and got me. And we went around campus, man. Got some charcoal. You know what I mean? Got a grill. Got some fluid. Man, we started grilling under the turpin by the football field. Just kidding.
We will make a way.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it's a true story, man. And from that day on, I never left. I said, you know what? I got some good people out here. It ain't like Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
They left me in that room, so I'm like, Chicago. I'm like, man, dude, I don't know, dude.
On the real, Joe, we just like that, man.
Yeah.
What? How do you feel about athletes being paid? College athletes being paid?
I'm kind of jealous.
We always a generation late. No internet, we ain't get paid in college.
But we got to play outside.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that was the toss up.
I think athletes should have been getting paid since the
Come
beginning
on.
of time. Those hard days of working, those hard days of getting up doing tour days. Athletes, most students think that athletes got it easy, but they got it the hardest. It's a lot of hard work to keep that scholarship. Academics, you got to deal with people. You got to deal. You know what I mean? You got to deal with everything. So I think it's a beautiful thing that these kids can pay now.
And what they never say, Luke, to me, like, and you can speak to it, like, when you make that assertion that, oh, they got it easy, it's only one golden child on the team.
Yeah.
So, as Luke saying,
true.
the others, you got to keep that beat for real. You don't have a ghost student taking your test. No, you, the 10th man on the team, that got sold these sweet jerseys. So, you got to keep your grades up to keep that scholarship. So, as Luke saying, if I'm fucking doing practice 2 days and it's being treated like a job, why am I not compensated?
Exactly.
Don't give me the talking of what's been wrong.
That's some real stuff.
With this bullshit.
No, I agree. I think also too, it's just it was some bad things that, like you said, like the coaches now getting called out for, taking advances or taking stuff like that. Same thing with certain teams back in the day. Some things will come out that the whole team was in the class but nobody ever showed up.
Yep.
That's true.
That type of stuff is the reason that somebody on campus like me would be like, do you even go to class or something like that? But I agree.
That's a good thing. We need that. Don't get it twisted now. We need that. We need to not take advantage of the system.
Right.
But if you look at it, basketball is unfair.
Come on.
This thing is unfair. You're not going to be, I can't play 10 people on the court.
Right.
Hey, you know and I know who the best player in this room.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Your check going to be different than mine.
That's it.
we got to be able to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the coach get paid the bucks. You know what I mean?
This is true.
So it's the same thing with being around campus. Same thing with you say. Hey, are you going to class? I ain't finna give you my work and you ain't going to class. It's the same thing.
So where are your notes?
Yeah.
That's going to be $55.
How can you help me, sir?
Right.
So now we get into networking.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get into networking. Now you got to be smart enough to network now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you ain't like reading them books, you got to be smart enough to network.
Yes,
and that's just the business. That's the nature of the business. I ain't make it. I learned it. You know?
No, that's for sure.
You know? Yeah.
But what I've always hated is like the NCAA is a front. It's a fucking cartel. Because, Joe, don't get me. You shouldn't have brought me here. Because I have thought.
Come on, keep going. Come on.
You installed this faction of old white men, let's call it what it is,
True.
who lord over these rules, line their pockets, and Lou being nice. Because these coaches treated like the gods of the town.
They are.
You can leave whenever you want.
Right.
But before the transfer portal that's now been you can't leave, but I can recruit you and leave before we ever fucking touch the court.
Right.
This coach making $40 million to make him practice 2 a day. He told his mama, I'm gonna get your son out the hood, blah, blah, blah.
Of course.
You forgot about him when the next recruiting class fucking came.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah, because you have to recruit better.
you fucking, the basketball generates the money and the fame and recognition of your school. It's paying for all the other intramural sports.
Absolutely.
And you
Football,
telling me,
yeah.
no, football, basketball.
Yeah.
No
That's
offense to women's sports, volleyball, wrestling.
It's
All the
football and
money
basketball.
is churned through them.
Yeah.
So we don't see none of it.
That's
So
true.
while Luke being nice and saying the notes he got a network, essentially, bitch, I'm paying for your scholarship because you want to fucking play the little sword game, and wrestle, water polo. I'm paying for that.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So, as I said, the NCAA, if you really wanted to know how I thought about them,
I think you just did.
okay, yeah,
Hold on.
stop.
I mean,
I love it.
the truth is the truth. They've been literally making millions off y'all's back
Yeah,
for
I
forever.
love it.
That's not going to change.
Yeah.
It just starts very early and then escalates right on up into your NBA, your NFL, everything. Nothing you said is wrong.
Come on,
Yeah, and I want to send a shout out to LeBron James.
let's get it.
So now we changing the narrative, but it's the same topic because LeBron James has changed the culture of the NBA. Now these kids in these portals has been the best thing for the kid.
Yes.
Now the coaches they scratching their head.
How I'm gonna keep them now?
How I'm gonna get him? What I gotta do? How much I gotta pay him? How much can we fund the money to get him? So it should have been like that.
It should,
You know what
all
I
the
mean?
time.
It should have been like that, and that's just what it is. And like I work for a guy named Coach McConaughey. He just retired, resigned. 23 years at Northwestern State, where I played for. I want to send a shout out to Coach McConaughey.
Come on.
He did his game on the court. He did a hell of a job. Great guy, you know, but he never believed in like, you know, putting names on the back, you know, the last name. That's the only thing I disagree with.
I agree with you.
You know, I understand his method to his madness, but he was we all one. You know, and he was a very spiritual guy. I don't take nothing from him. But I still wanted my last name on my back.
Why
Right.
wouldn't you?
You know what I'm saying?
It's you.
And that's the only thing. But other than that, you know, that guy has, you know, done some great things in the business, and he did everything honest. I worked with him 10 years. I worked with him 10 years. He's an honest coach. You know, he ain't gonna give you $1, you know, if you don't deserve it. As far as doing it the right way, you know what I mean. He gonna recruit you. He wants you to be there. So
Let's get it.
Talk about that. Once you retired from playing, you became a coach for Northwestern State. Tell us about that.
okay, well. I had 3 jobs to go overseas right after I got done. I hadn't had my degree. They had paid for 5 classes. I needed 5 more classes to get my degree. So Coach McConaughey paid for it. He said, I'm going to pay for these classes. He said, but you can't cross me. You can't cross me. You know, the classes cost money. So I said, you know, I'm going to knock it out because my mom wanted me to get my degree. I didn't come out of Louisiana and get my degree.
Why not?
My master's degree I got.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something on the backside of why I'm telling you how deep this is, because I got my bachelor's. After I got my bachelor's, I had those 3 jobs was off the table. My agent kind of like went with somebody else. So I was cool. I was cool about that because I knew I made my decision. I wanted to get my degree.
Come on.
I got my degree. That was the best feeling in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wanted to go play overseas. But maybe I should have found a better agent. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I told him, man, go fuck yourself, man. I'm cool. You ain't finna rush me. He told me, you gonna leave tomorrow. No, Coach Mike just paid for these classes. I'm gonna get my degree. That's it. If I can't take no computer over there, or you can't help me through this process, I don't need to go play for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually what's happening here is what you
what
just
we're talking
talked
about.
Right?
Absolutely. So I got my degree, and most people be a graduate assistant. Coach McConty gave me assistant coach title. Slapped it on me. So I didn't even get my master's. He just slapped me assistant coach. Boom. I fit in right away. Right away I was fitting in. So, he told me, I'm gonna give you 1 year, only $20,000. I'm gonna give you 1 year, and then you can find something else to do. You might go back home, we're gonna get you another job. I said, cool. I did that 1 year, it turned into 2 years.
Come on.
2 years turned to 3 years. 3 years turned to 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So every year I was getting raises, I was doing my thing. But the only thing I regret is I should have moved around. I should have used my network.
That's
what
I was waiting.
Coach Mike was a little spoiled. I'm in the system. I know the campus. I'm loyal. And I wasn't loyal to my bag. But I don't regret it. I learned a lot up under that man. Good. And I had a good experience. So I don't regret nothing that happened to me. And since I've been here in Chicago, I've had head coaching job. They just called me. I haven't filled out an application or none of that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I just sent my resume. They look at my resume. Thank God. I stayed and stuck through college. My resume is just talking for me. Every job I've had, it's been through God work and network or just somebody who know me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I move. So I'm thankful.
Chicago's very young.
Yep. After Northwestern State, you headed back to this great windy city of Chicago. We are live.
Why are you leaving the heat?
We are live with Luke the Juke Rogers, Chicago Public League Hall of Fame. Unapologetic. Follow us on all social media platforms and all podcast platforms. How did we get the name Juke? Where did Juke come from?
That's crazy. That's crazy. You say you know why?
I know why.
Oh, okay.
Most people think it's from the women. I promise you.
I thought it was from the footwork.
No, it's not from the footwork.
Oh.
So, I think 2002, I was Chicago. No, 2001. I was Chicago Tribune of the Year.
Oh, wow.
And my assistant coach was Bob. His name was Bob. I forgot Bob's last name. Bob Rumbus. And he got interviewed with Chicago Tribune, and we were sitting there. He's like, man, this is Luke the Juke. So when he labeled me that, they put it in the newspaper. They didn't put Luke Rogers. They put Luke the Juke. So it didn't come from my homies, nothing like that. Okay. It came from an actual, you know what I mean? Like the newspaper, like So everybody starts saying Juke. They start calling me Juke. And then I used to stand next to the parties.
That's what it sounds like.
So I danced too. So man, it's been tight, man.
It's universal. It's universal.
So it just happened like that. I swear. It did. That's what happened in Chicago.
Yeah,
that's how I got the nickname.
Got it.
When we are in the presence of greatness, somebody who's played March of Madness and someone who is a Chicago basketball legend and Hall of Famer, you have been acknowledged by the great city of Chicago and CPS as a legend and a Hall of Famer. How was that honor?
It was huge to me because somebody told me this the other day. Johnny Payton, Lemon told me this. He said a lot of people don't really know how hard it is to get recognized, but you only did 3 years of high school.
Sure.
I only did 3 years of high school and got recognized at Chicago Hall of Fame. I got kicked off ticket my sophomore year. So I did all this in one season. Like, you know what I mean? I did all this in one season, you know.
Wow.
My life was about to just, you know what I mean? I had got into a situation where I had an armed robbery, but it wasn't with a pistol. It was like, I just took somebody's money. I didn't think it was that serious. I'm like, you come to my neighborhood, come to the
I need that.
Come to the
I need that. We know.
We out here, we need pieces to go to Sammy's. If we want to go to Sammy's, $1.25 for a piece.
You already know.
You know what I mean?
Need to know.
So when I just took it from him, and he went and told the police, and they came and got me. They gave me a real case.
Oh my God.
They gave me a real case my sophomore year. So, I was done. I'm like, my life over, you know what I mean? But I beat the case. And I got my life together. That next summer, I kept begging Carter to put me on the team. Like, can you put me back on the team, So I thank God for the neighborhood and guys like you guys because they was vouching for me. It's like, man, calling them, that's all, he a good guy, Put him back on the team. That summer, we went against the Dockeries, the Farragut, the Butchers. What I'm talking about, I was scoring 30, 40, 50. I was thirsty. I'm like, I got it back. I need to get it. Y'all ain't know about me, now you know. So I was averaging 30. I was playing against big teams, and I had freshmen and sophomores with me. I was the only junior. So I had to step up. So I worked hard that summer. It was Nike camp, a couple other camps. We had one, and I was averaging 30. So by the time coming into that season, it was already I was in the newspaper already, like top 30.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. The real deal. Left.
Yeah.
The real deal.
Yeah.
So I went back into the neighborhood last week to referee at the British school.
Right. Fuck out of here.
Right across.
Right on. Well, that's the YMCA. That's the Y. You can follow it.
So you know exactly
I know
where
exactly where it's the Y.
So I'm looking at the window during halftime. I'm like, wow, this used to be
The what?
Nothing but the Y.
green.
And that's it.
Unreal.
So nothing is the same.
Oh,
I
no.
say
Everything.
him.
Oh no.
Everything.
If we could tell you what Holston look like, it's just the Y. And don't get caught not being by the Y at a certain time.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So to see it as good one saying like,
Don't get
when
caught
I
in the Y.
drive through there,
Uh-huh.
because my son live along the way, and I be like, I tell like, you know what, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But this how you know
Right.
no, this used to be, he don't know what the hell
You
I'm
be
saying.
serious though.
You be
Like,
serious, like, you don't even know how this doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
my eyes. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
But we have to stop and go back. So now, how did you grow up around them, but then ended up going to a whole
Oh
different high
wow.
school?
See, because if he was going to ask, we are being
No,
mothers.
no, I was
wanna
going there.
Oh,
I was
we
going
jumped
there
in, so
because
I settled.
Right,
I
but-
want to know now.
because we went to Lincoln Park,
Right.
which is the neighborhood school,
Yes.
and even then you had near North was open.
Yeah.
I mean you had
Near North
Well,
you-
there
I
was
mean,
a 3
you
good
had-
one too.
That was my neighborhood school.
Yeah.
you had all these schools, but you passed
All
these schools and ended up at Vine.
Okay.
This is the magical question, and I'm gonna say this, and he may not remember, but my senior year, I lived next door
To me.
to Luke's. Okay,
Oh,
right.
okay.
I
remember.
Sheridan, right across the hall.
Yes.
I'm walking to Lincoln Park. I'm
And
doing a Facebook post, and
He
I'm
used to
walking
be
through
fresh every
Blazers and
day.
stuff.
J's on.
And-
I used to have his scarf on.
That's no.
And Luke went all the way to Vine Stupid. How did you end up so far away?
From home.
Man,
Spider-Man far from home.
Mark.
Shit.
And terrorizing Lincoln Park.
Oh, I was at one of those games.
Well, I'll tell you the honest God truth. I went to St. Joseph too. So St. Joseph was a Catholic school. Y'all didn't know that. So like in the neighborhood, everybody went to Jenna, Bird,
Jennifer,
Manila. Those are schools
Schiller.
where everybody went. Schiller. So everybody went to those schools that I
I
had
always
to go
thought you went to Schiller, Lou.
No, I went to St. Joseph.
You graduated from
Kindergarten, I
St.
graduated from St. Joseph.
Oh, wow.
Kindergarten through 8th grade, I went to St.
Wow.
Joseph.
I always thought he went to Schiller.
So I was hanging. When we got out of school, I ripped the uniform off.
Real
Come
quick.
over there with Charlie Glenn right
Let
there.
me in, no.
You know what I mean? So, and I swear to God, I give this lady so much credit. My mother, Miss Rogers.
Wow.
My mom had a 3rd grade education. You know what I mean? Mississippi. Took care of 8. You know what I mean? And my brothers and sisters, it's 8 of us. I'm the youngest. So I give them full credit. Like I didn't trust it, but I'm like, well, I want to go with the rest of the kids. I fight them on the way home. I'm in the uniform. You know?
Joe.
Good thing my brother was a gang chief. You know what I mean? I was alright. You know what I mean? But honestly, I had to walk the path. And I had to be firm in what I wanted to do. So I played baseball and I hooped. You know what I mean? I hung out with my guys in the projects. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go through the projects every morning, duck gunshots, and go straight to St. Joseph. You know what I mean? And that's what I did, because my sisters went as well. So I went there kindergarten through 8th, and I played with the Demons. I met Carter. Carter was a teacher at Vaughn. So Hank was my man.
Hank was there, of course.
So when Hank went, I went. You
Why
know what I
wouldn't
mean?
you?
And
Why wouldn't
it just went like that. Another thing, I didn't want to go to Lincoln Park, so I had to choose.
Correct.
I don't have to choose because my mom had moved from Cabrini to Scott Street
Yep.
to the Brown Doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They was already insinuating, but I was loved by everybody.
Yeah.
It couldn't be no he this, he that. You know what I mean? You knew what was going on if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I understood that. I just didn't take advantage of that. So I just embraced the love wherever I went. And I just walked through the neighborhoods. I'm one of the only guys that we can go here and there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed. I'm thankful.
Yeah.
So
that's how that happened.
So Vaughn was a rival that used to beat y'all.
So look, he
same
made
color.
it a rival. We didn't give a fuck about Vaughn.
Oh, okay.
Till Luke win.
Oh,
So
then
now it's
he
like,
became a rival.
imagine your very own going somewhere else.
Yeah.
You love him, but now we gotta make you know.
Yeah.
You should have chose us. It didn't go so well.
Oh, it didn't go so well.
So whoop our ass, man.
Oh.
So you class of 02?
02.
Oh,
Royce, Jason,
Yeah.
Mike Henderson.
Me and Rogers, the mean one.
Okay.
Were see this how you play positive. We were de facto basketball managers, stealing all the candy. I was a video manager, and we walked in there. Luke was there, Tope was there.
Yep.
And I'm like, Luke, Joe, why the fuck is you at the I had never been about because Tiffany was a Vine student, right?
Yep.
I think she did go.
Tiffany McGee?
Yeah.
Thomas.
I thought she went to
One of them weird ass students. She was at the game.
Down the street, right down
She
far.
was at the game.
Yeah.
And we saw Luke doing the warm-ups. We go over to talk to him. And I'm like, we finna beat y'all. He's like, no, y'all not. And I'm like, we watching tip off. And you just knew it was going to happen.
Oh.
Second half, they whooped Lincoln Park ass. As you say, Royce will get out.
That was Jesse.
Yeah, we came to Vine.
You know how many overtimes it was? 5 overtimes.
Joe, and like
I didn't tip in to win the game.
we wanted to beat Vine students so bad.
But we have been beating Von's ass for
Before I got there.
Yeah.
Before I got there.
But that's how I said Luke made it be
changed the
different.
program.
Won 4 years in a row.
Blue
Yeah.
chips.
Yeah. So we ended up beating them. I tipped the ball in to go in the 5th overtime to go to the Final Four to play Westinghouse. That's how that happened right there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we played Westinghouse. It was us and Westinghouse, and then it was Julian and Farragut.
You was in Dockery class. You said
Yeah, I signed a Hall of Fame table with Dockery. Yeah, I got
Joe.
the same day, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Luke was chosen. Like what he is
Yeah,
playing
my
that like
mom.
I don't know
She prayed
what,
over me, man. I'm
I
telling you.
don't know what questions good one got, but like how we saw Luke as the one for us. Like he gonna make it to the league or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like we all just wonder where he was gonna go, whatever. Cause that was Dockery year.
Dockery, D. Brown, Shannon Brown.
He was in
Tony
that
Bennett,
class. He was in
Keith
that
McGee,
Oh, okay.
Aquadollar.
He was in that class.
Yeah.
So you
Shannon
like
Brown Monica's.
Will Bonham had just left.
I know exactly
Oh,
what
okay.
Shannon Brown is.
But yeah, we all like vaguely we like, okay, I want Luke to go to a college that we know. So like when he left, like it's no social media. Nobody know where Luke go, And as I say, his journey, this is all new to me. Because when I saw him pop on Northwest, I was like, oh, he went there the whole time. No wonder we don't know. But to hear your story, like it's more, I love it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, loyalty, you showed it 2 times. You say your first stop loyalty, your second stop with the coach and loyalty. And that's what, and this is Chicago plus. People will never understand Chicago dudes.
Yeah.
We loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
We're loyal to what? Oh,
To
I'm
whatever.
sorry.
Move on, girl. What's the next question? What's the next question?
Hey,
It's about
we
Luke.
still talking basketball.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm gonna sneak out the basketball.
My bad. They're loyal to the sport. There you go.
As I mentioned previously, I was neighbors with Luke, and your mother was and is a very special person.
Man.
Always kept a smile, always asking how you doing, will give you anything you needed. She was just the mother of all mothers in the neighborhood.
Yes.
And I know that her no longer being here is just it's probably just as devastating today as it was then. Tell us about Miss Rogers.
Miss Rogers, that lady is something else. She's something else. My mom was a very spiritual person. She prayed, morning and night, and she moved off energy, you know, and the spirit. That's everything she's done, like, you know, in the neighborhoods from Cabrini Green to Scott Street to the Brown Builders. I mean, everywhere she went, she drew people to her. You know, if she cooked for the whole neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And she had 8 of her own. So you know, if you was next door neighbor or whatnot, you was her child. That's she was the golden child. That's my baby, you know, and that's how she was. But my mom, she instilled a lot in me. She instilled a lot in me as far as, you know, my personality and my character, you know, just giving back, you know what I'm saying, and being tough too, being tough and loyal, you know what I'm saying. A lot of that characteristics come from her, you know. I wouldn't be there to do it without her, you know what I'm saying. So when I lost it, it took a part of me. But I can say this: you never learn to get over it. You just learn to live with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at today. Like, that's, you know, I kind of be hard on myself because I'm like, I should be here. She would have told me this. You know, I gotta just take my time and continue to just gradually grow this thing because, you know, it's not like, you know, you get another mother. You know what I mean?
Right.
You lose your mother, I don't care how old you are, you know, you're gonna feel that. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I got her personality and I kind of try to trigger those things to other people and light fuse, you know what I'm saying? That's just what I do, you know, and they come from her, you know, she's a special woman, so.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, definitely.
Luke Rogers has put Sand and Cabrini Green on the map. We thank you for that. Describe growing up on the north side. You know, we got a bad stigma, you know, but describe growing up north side and the food. You know, let's you know, people talk about Uncle Raymond's and Harold's. We had Farmer Brown.
Farmer Brown.
You know,
you ain't
we got
nobody got the recipe, I know that.
You better know that. Tell
Nobody got the recipe.
Ain't nobody touched.
Wait a minute, is it gone?
It's
Yeah,
gone.
it's gone.
It's gone. Okay.
He passed away and he never looked. And his wife didn't even want to give it out. The recipe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So he didn't franchise. He literally just let it when he went.
It's
it
gone.
was off.
Yeah.
That's how you in that movie.
Yeah.
I remember.
Look like this. When you get off on East Ohio, you smell Farmer Brown.
That's,
Oh yeah.
East Ohio, all the way there.
Oh
That
Yes.
Farmer Brown's is legendary.
So,
I
I'm
gotta
telling
ask
you.
some questions.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, not to y'all. Y'all said it.
you
I
gonna
got
poll
to
it?
I
Yeah,
got
ask.
to pose.
Oh, yeah.
I got to pose.
Oh yeah.
So what was the question, sir?
You had Giordano's
what-
and Lou Malnice. We had Chester's.
You are gonna say you better say
and Father and
Chester's.
Son.
And
Okay?
Chester's
Father,
Chester
son.
sent the food stamps.
Can't forget
You ain't
Terry.
know that. You can go to Chester with that brown tin.
What?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
What y'all know about the food stamp
You
book?
what?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought we
yeah.
invented it.
Yeah,
When
oh,
everybody
yeah.
else, I'm like, wait, I thought only we
I
had
was a
food
little
stamps.
pissed off though. It went from $1.10 to $1.50 within the summer.
But you know how that
That's
in
close.
place. Joe Biden had his hand in that too.
Yeah.
Joe Biden had his hand in that too.
They needed that for reset.
Yeah, so we had Sammy's. Sammy's was good.
Right.
Man, the
People had-
original Sammy.
The people had Patillos now. We had Sammy's and
We had
Timbers
Sammy's.
there.
You better fucking know it.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all don't
This
know.
that
But you know-
section
you know
was
what's
so
so-
rich.
Yes. That's what I was about to say. You
Yeah.
know, I was about to say
It's,
that.
it's so rich with food and culture, and it was so family oriented.
Yeah.
It was the hood too.
It was.
It
Yeah,
was-
we
Don't get
live right
confused.
downtown.
yeah.
We
We got
got
Old Town.
You can walk.
We can go downtown, you know, and
Go to the
we
beach.
go to the beach. We literally 10 minutes from the beach.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It's
Yeah.
there. We're in,
Yeah.
and that's
We're
what
at
I
peak.
We didn't know, like, we were like the fucking Native Americans.
Yeah,
We didn't fucking know what
We
we
didn't
were
know.
sitting on.
Right.
And we slowly
Right,
let Mr. Pilgrim walk his ass.
I mean, clearly,
So
no,
we-
they wiped all of y'all out.
To
I
the-
would
to
have
the
never
point
done
we-
that.
we-
We still
appreciate
got
it.
our little piece. You ain't put us all out.
Oh, I
So
didn't
the
care.
the part of the row houses has been
The row
laid out.
house-
Oh, that's true.
The
Yeah.
row houses
Okay.
in the other end, Marshfield Gardens.
Yeah,
Oh,
can't touch
And
it.
the
Do
brown
people-
buildings.
And the
are
brown
still-
Do
buildings.
people actually still live there though?
Yeah.
That's why I still stand there. I still in my old building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I could move to the row houses, I would. Too.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I
I
want
mean,
to go home.
do the row houses and you people actually live in
Yeah,
the row
one
houses?
side is vacated
Oh,
and
and then
one
the other.
is had.
Okay, got it.
And if you go over there in the summer, you will know they still.
Oh, okay.
Plug locusts.
I'm good.
That's what they call
And
it.
then you got the brown line to come right through it.
And
That's
show
right.
you.
You know,
Oh.
and show you. Yep. So it was.
And let's not forget the Lowly Dominoes. They just closed.
Right.
It just closed.
Yeah.
Like,
The one by division?
on the side.
Wow.
Still, it just recently closed. I told my son, this is my person I'm talking to, who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But you tell him anyway.
You tell him these old stories.
Dad, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know that Domino's sitting down? I never, saw people going there, I never knew how it was still in business.
Are y'all sure it was just the
But
Domino's?
It was right. You might be
Well,
right.
it was around white people too.
The white people
Oh,
was on
okay.
top.
White folks see
it was,
Yeah.
and that was the hardest part, you know, because you were scared to go across the street to walk by there, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you knew you couldn't go down that way.
Yeah.
So you got to find your way through and bob and weave, and that was the hardest part. And another thing, being from Cabrini Green, you're labeled already.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
That's the hardest part, stepping out the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like, you from the Greens, oh, we know what you is.
Yep.
You know, and so we had to deal with those things as young men growing up that we don't talk about.
The
Yeah.
other thing, though, I flip it, though, Lou, because, see, we're able to talk to the other race because, like you say, especially me and Goodwin, we're in Lincoln Park.
Mm-hmm.
We're forced to have encounters with their children, their parents, or whatever.
That's true.
So we more prepared to talk to the other race,
Mm-hmm.
and we not even thinking why. It's because psychologically we dropped in this hodgepodge, like he said.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric can't go on saying,
Right.
can't walk over here too far, and they go to 18th district waiting. Well, what you doing over
you
there?
doing over
I
there?
live over
Yeah.
here. What
Yeah.
do you mean?
Yeah.
So you feel like a man without a country,
Yeah.
but you survive, and you can see we got all these great fucking memories.
I just
Absolutely.
seriously cannot believe, Cabrini Green is something I knew about moving to the city.
Mm-hmm.
But I seriously, listening to you all explain it, how it used to be, I just,
can't see it.
can't see it.
Yeah,
And I seriously cannot believe
It's
that they
crazy.
have moved literally
Everybody.
everybody
It's
out of it.
gentrification at its
And
finest.
it's finest.
I mean, and it's sad. Like I'm getting upset just talking about that. We don't have. The only thing we have are the row houses and
Marshall
that
City
little piece of Cedric.
Yeah.
That's it. And we were not knowledgeable, and whoever was probably just didn't have the money to buy up anything
Right.
Yeah.
to stay in the area. Like I could not live over there at all with a
Right.
2-person income.
Come on.
No,
Right.
it's ridiculous.
And the bare minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so
I just
just
wonder,
like that.
y'all were young, but do y'all know what they pitched to people? Like
Oh,
they
the
had to come
Section 8
in.
voucher.
Oh, God.
That was
so
all
that's what
bait
they
and
did
switch.
up there
That's
too.
the-
The bait and switch. You want a
Okay.
house?
Yeah.
See, this was when the other race went to the suburbs.
Right,
The
yeah.
suburbs moved, and then they found out about that fucking flood.
Uh-huh.
And they went to bring their ass
Back
back.
to the city.
Right.
And what they're gonna say to you, oh, you can get a house? We gonna pay half that or whatever. Now, as you heard Luke say, and as we're talking, we didn't have the demands that we got now to
Right.
see like, hell no, y'all not getting this.
Right.
And like Goodwin say, to be fair, we definitely didn't had an income that we definitely would have had a hard time pulling. The only builder was at the Berlin who bought their building.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
wow.
tried. Now, we'll never play the Berlin. They got their money together and
That's
said,
right.
we're buying this. It ain't no price. Eventually they sold it, which is smart.
Good.
Maximize on that investment. But if we all, and I won't pretend, they tried, because I'm not going to let it all be a side. So it was people going around trying to spread Paul Revere and this shit.
Oh, yeah.
But we weren't listening because think about living in a project. You got a project mentality with
Right.
what's going on. We can't do that. We downtrodden. Goodwin said we ain't got the money. I'm barely paying houses and sucking
Right.
rent.
Right.
But we didn't know that we sitting on fucking $1 million.
Millions.
It was, and it as Goodwin is mad. It's making me mad.
I get it.
Because every time I go there and look at a Chase Bank on the corner and seeing Holly walking down, I'm like, Luke would have not your ass out and took your fucking money, man.
Right.
What
Right.
you just walk
Right.
down there like it's okay.
You're absolutely correct.
Excuse me,
You're
home.
absolutely correct. Hey, I'm with you when
Oh,
you're
man,
It
man.
is Whole Foods.
Man.
I know, so I know that area. When you talk about, I go to brunch in that area.
It burns.
I literally go to brunch in that area.
I got
But we made it, y'all.
We did.
Shout out
That's
to y'all.
We legends. We all legends.
It's him.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
take it out of us.
Yeah.
He's out
Can't
there.
do it. You can't
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
You can't do
I'm
it.
proud of you guys as well. So let's
Come
not,
on, man, Lou.
you know, I'm giving y'all flowers right now too. So
That's love.
we
Joe.
can't
Clap it up, yo. We got one.
That's
Proud of y'all, man.
Luke Rogers in the building. You posted a picture of you and your coach for Von Steuben and St. Joseph. You've had great coaches and mentors. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, Coach Custer was my coach at St. Joseph. He was around for a while. He basically, kind of started me off like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and he kind of stayed with me through that high school, the elementary experience. He was a great guy. He's always been around through the whole process of things, and always kept in touch, And I'm not taking credit away from my oldest brothers, but they kind of nurtured me as well as far as putting that pedal to my butt when I need to stay straight, or just training me and getting me right. But Coach Custer was a great guy, man. And once again, he was white, you know what I mean? So I was able to mingle. I was able, being that culture, my mom had already put me, mentally, like, don't be stuck here. I want you to go see what's going on. So I already had a relationship, with Coach Custer. And after that, I'm like, fell in love with Coach. You know what I mean? Coach cool. Coach bound me chests out the practice. He cool.
Cash.
Yeah.
He make cash, man.
He make cash. Yeah.
He make cash. Yeah. He don't know about that.
Right. No, honestly, though, for real, Coach was good. Vince Carter, I met Vince Carter like in 6th grade, and Vince put me on the Demons. Once Vince put me on the Demons, he's like, I think I'm going to keep a hold of this kid.
As he should.
Yeah, so Coach Carter played a great mentorship in my life. He's a mentor of mine that I still call today, and he'll drop his last dollar, you know what I'm saying? That's like, everybody says that's your daddy, But me and Carter got a great relationship, and I love what Carter did, giving back to the community, helping other kids out, helping other guys out, but me and him have a special relationship. And I appreciate that, I appreciate Carter. I can call him anytime. So, he was a mentor. And then I had, who else? Well, after high school, Coach McConaughey, and just people in the neighborhood. I named a couple guys like LaShawn Andre, from 500. You know what I mean? He kept me where I wasn't going astray to sell drugs and all like that. Kept money in my pocket. Yep. Went to my games and sponsored me AU trips. So I'm gonna give them flowers while they're here as well.
Man.
So, screwing on a good mentor. Lemon, Beville, all my guys. On both and Bam. These guys have been in my life. You know what I'm saying? That has nourished me, like kind of guided me to not have to go on the street. You know what I mean? Gang bang, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So I think it take a village.
It do. That's the quote right there.
You know what I'm saying? And I was in a great position, and I was a great timing to be able to, get my flower lifted. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that.
Well, people don't understand. Like I say, Luke, we gonna get Kim. See, if you was on the Demons, that was kind of like the Harlem Globetrotter.
Oh, okay.
So when you saw the Demons, cause like when I imagine Luke's life, the pressure of being chosen, like he being real modest to say, like, we said it already. Everybody looking for him to be that.
Yeah,
the gang members, as he said, all these other people in the background that want to know his son. Like, well, Luke probably had the weight of the world, and he was always like this. Yeah. For him to know,
energy is great.
But like I don't know what other people say, like or think about Luke. Like when he came to Sewell Park, took the time to play with us and lonely others, he was the same way. Now he gonna try to come bust your ass. But he didn't walk around like how you imagine a motherfucker gonna make it. Yeah. He was just Luke, and that's the thing that I like when you hear his story. Like he had all this going for people we don't know, and it's like, and he just was Luke.
I come to the playground
on the real,
throw some wood chips
on the real. That's fucking Luke.
And I didn't want. A lot of people like the attention. I didn't want the attention. I wanted to get where I gotta get it. I wanted everybody to feel that we can get this right here. You know what I mean? And that's just how I've always been. Even my friends, my immediate friends. I come around, y'all be on the other court. I play with my guys, guys leave.
I come over here with us.
And I had a good relationship with these guys. You know what I mean? And I want them to understand that. That's first and foremost. I got a good relationship with these guys.
That's true.
So if you get a couple groups where you just networking and you building, that's just what it is. That's just that. I love to do that. I love to do it, and I think that's the best way it should be. I think everybody should be like that. You know what I'm saying? But we're not. Unfortunately, I'm not saying I'm better or more or less, but I tried early to try to get connect the dots. In both neighborhoods, because you never know where you'll be at. I'm like, man, that's Luke.
Yeah.
Man, beat his ass. Oh no, what you mean? I was with him last. No, that's my guy.
You can't.
So that's just the way I played the game. The game had to be played. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. This is what it is, man.
And you have continued your you're from your mentors and coaches. You are now coaching here in the city of Chicago. Tell us about that and how you are giving back.
Man, I love it. I love it. I met a new group of guys at Urban Prep, and it's weird how I got over to Urban Prep. It's my second time being at Urban Prep. My first time, well, initially you asked me a question, why did I come back from Louisiana?
Yes.
Well, my son was in 8th grade and his mom was, trying to find a high school, and it was at a point where it's like, you know what, he ain't coming out there with me to Louisiana, so, I'm sorry. He ain't coming out there with me to Louisiana, so it's like, he's like, man, you know what, I'm gonna come on back. I just gave coaching up, and it was getting complicated in the office in Northwestern State anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what, it might be time for me to step away from this. I just prayed on it, stepped away from it, and moved back. So I got my son in Curie. When I got him in Curie, I was making sure I was just making sure he ain't stray away. You know what I'm saying? I was going, checking up there, and I found a job, and I found a job at Sewell Park. I ran into a guy, we talking about Louisiana. He went to Louisiana Raging Cajuns, and then I ended up in Northwestern, and we talked about that, and then found out he was a dean. And they was looking for a coach and a PE teacher. Boom. Went interview. I didn't even really have to interview. Got the job. So now it worked out for me. At Urban Prep, where I'm at right now.
Come on.
So my son ended up graduating recently. So I'm thankful for that. He just graduated, and he's at Roosevelt University now. So I appreciate that. So Junior just graduated. So I told him I'll stay here through this process. And I just didn't want my son to stray away, get out there in the street, and that's just what it is. And he's doing good, he's trying to find himself, but hey, he ain't out there in the street.
That's all that matters.
That was my main goal of coming back, you know what I mean? My son, and my family. So it worked out for the better. So Urban Prep been good. Coaching at Urban Prep been good. This year, last year they went 1-16. This year, we over 500, went to the second round state. I kind of changed the culture, got rid of all the seniors. Because they didn't want to buy in. I moved my sophomores up, and I competed, So my JV won, my varsity won, and we're going to do some good things this summer, so.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
That was a bold move.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, wow.
I had to. I
had
a losing mentality, and I still got a good relationship with those kids, but I had to get rid of them, and once I got rid of them, the rest of the school was like, oh, here we go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if they weren't in the gym working, they weren't working with me, I wasn't going to keep them around. I don't care if they was good or not, So, I just want them to understand that we're trying to build a winning culture. These kids are, they lack the confidence. And somebody need to tell them, like, you can do it. Instead of, man, you weak as hell. Your ass ain't shit. You know what I mean? And we gotta stop doing that to our young brothers and sisters. I don't care how bad they are. You know what I'm saying? We gotta trick them, and we gotta trick them to being, a believer. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta trick them. Let's trick them then. Yeah. You know what I mean? But telling them you ain't shit or you're a bum. Well, what are you doing to work with them?
Come on, man.
Are you teaching them how to step? Are you teaching them how to walk? Are you teaching them to tie? You know what I'm saying? So these are the things good environment, but these are the things that I try to instill in my program. So that's just what I'm on,
Come on, man.
And it's working. It's working. So
Urban Prep is in the city?
Yeah, it's on 35th.
Oh, I know, okay.
Right down yonder there from you.
I know, literally right down the street. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Luke, I'm kind of scared to ask this question, but you are left-handed. You're left-handed.
Oh my God!
You're left-handed.
Look at it.
Quite the baseball player.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
basketball is nothing but quite the baseball player here.
And you're not on your softball team? What's going on?
Well, we trying to sign him to some contract.
I think he's right there.
Luke is very busy.
Oh, very busy. Okay. Very busy.
Cubs or Sox? Cubs or Sox?
Look, remember how you never want to pick now? You're between two.
Yeah.
Oh, literally.
The fact that you have to even think about it.
I'll say this. Frank Thomas was my favorite player.
Let's go.
But also Mark Grace.
That's my favorite.
So
okay.
Let's leave it right there.
You a politician. This is mayor.
Well, I did celebrate when the Cubs won it.
But in 2005, don't you?
He was in Louisiana.
I was going to Texas.
I celebrated when the
Cubs
Cubs. You won it, though.
He was in Louisiana.
I was in the camp.
I love to
shit about that.
Yeah, I love to go to the Sox game for the food.
And
I'd rather go to the Cubs game for the beer.
And that's it.
See,
Luke
that's
is
it. Well,
a
I mean,
man.
I know I don't count because I'm not from here, but that's us. I swear to God, we love the Sox.
Man, I got great food.
And they lemonade and vodka is off the chain.
You know, if y'all gonna be Canada, just say that.
Okay.
Y'all don't want to get involved. This is an all-out war. You gotta pick a side.
No,
I
I'm going to
understand.
vote. Yeah.
It's weird. Like,
And the beauty of it is my partner at my firm has the best seats.
I need to give it to
Oh, we gotta-
No Cubs.
We got a politics now, man. Network now.
Yeah, y'all do that if it's Cubs.
It's Cubs.
Hello.
I know. I got you next time.
Like, hello.
I got you next time. I went this year. It was good, but I got you next time.
So, Luke, it has been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Has anybody ever told you put you in the mindset of DMX?
Oh my God.
Yeah, he thought we weren't gonna say it.
Every day, my kids be in the.
You got the voice,
My kids,
you got the look. I mean, so
my
if you
kids been always. Yo, DMX. So you imagine high school, right?
Yeah.
Clowning me.
Yeah.
They don't pay me for getting that treatment.
When Belly came out, I can hear it.
Oh yeah,
man.
okay, because I'm sitting here like, what's going on? Is this DMX?
Let's get Earl first now.
Girl, come on, girl.
So make sure when they start that documentary, they looking for that
I
picture.
know.
Make sure you have your ass in line.
Bring me the check.
We gonna
Hey,
have
Swiss. Let's talk.
right here,
Look,
right
look,
here.
we
You got the
talk.
bald head, you
We
got the voice.
We will get the
okay?
contract together, okay?
The documentary, huh?
We will be your agent. We
Oh
got
yeah,
you.
that's good stuff. Luke, I want to thank you for being you. First of all, from our childhood to today,
Man.
you just one of the kindest, God-fearing
Real
people. You definitely have accomplished so much where you wouldn't even have to sit in here with us, you know. But every time I see you or I call you or text you, whatever, you always answer my calls.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I thank you for continuously doing great work in the
Absolutely.
community.
Thank you, my man.
And,
Thank you.
Your family is
Oh,
great. You know, God rest your mother's soul. She did a great job in her time here, and she lives on through you and the family.
Appreciate that.
You have just, I mean, exceeded all expectations and been triumphant over these years. And so when we started Unapologetic years ago, Luke was on the list of people.
And we never got to it.
Luke was on the list of people. Pandemic hit, slowed everything down. But I'm glad that we got you here. We definitely want you back.
Yes.
And just keep doing great.
Thank
Keep
you.
being great.
I gotta give me a shirt.
Yep.
What I do love, like if you a Facebook friend of Luke, he often like does his basketball camps, throws it out. This is a fucking working coach,
Okay.
and it's always in my timeline. I share it to my homies. It don't seem like he discriminating against somebody.
anybody.
And this goes with what goes on with his giving heart, with his time and everything. And like that's big because like for people who don't know who he is, whether you do or don't, just to say, come on.
Yeah.
You know, and just hearing your attitude with your junior class and everything, you got the right to do that because of your story.
Absolutely.
And if you can't be inspired from hearing somebody with the weight on the world on his shoulders and his teenage years to remain humble and still want to get back, I don't know what you want at this point.
That's true.
Man.
I get it.
Just gotta keep striving.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Luke, give it up for Luke.
Luke, Juke.
Like Earl. Earl. I'm gonna say Earl there.
I don't know no fucking.
I'm not about to.
Thank you, sir. Follow Luke on all where you at on social media? Where? Luke Juke?
Luke Juke Rogers.
Luke Juke Rogers. Follow on Instagram. Luke Juke Rogers on Facebook. Follow Urban Prep. Send them some cash and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
And congratulations to you. Follow Unapologetic on all podcast platforms. This will be up tonight. And what are we on all social media, all podcast social media platforms. And tomorrow, no, we got another show tonight.
We do, but we got some good for tomorrow too.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So Luke Rogers.
Luke. Appreciate you guys having me. Much love. That's dope.
Thank you, sir.
That was dope.
My boy.
That was dope.
Look, I was going to say, He was out there when they fucking Southside ass was trying to whoop our ass in softball.
Oh yeah.
He came right there like, why y'all done call me? I didn't know you was play.
What's the team? Y'all already got it started?
Not yet. Let's
Okay.
get it started.
I did that. It's charged up.
You got it's only on 6.
Sorry, I need to-
This you wanna let it charge some more?
Yeah, let me let it charge a little more.
Okay.
Y'all got another show tonight?
Yes.
That was awesome. I like that. That was nice.
Oh man,
It's my first time telling my story, man.
Oh wow,
you
you were
you
great.
getting exclusive.
Goodness gracious.
2 exclusive.
You were very comfortable. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
you've been in the camera multiple times, but you were very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It came off very
You guys
good.
doing a good